Hi, I'm Mike Gillette, Tactical Training Specialist and former Bodyguard. I'm here today with Criticalbench.com talking to you about when is it okay to fight. Now, the first thing that we should point out is a fight, by its definition in almost every jurisdiction, at least in the United States, is something that is illegal. Two people consensually involved in physical violence is almost always an illegal act. Now, that is not to be misconstrued with self-defense. You can physically defend yourself from physical violence. That is not illegal to do. The only time you might experience some trouble there is if somebody pushes you in the chest and you respond by hitting them over the head with the baseball bat. That would simply be an example of the force that you are bringing to that situation is completely disproportional to the force or the prospective threat that was first administered unto you. Does that make sense? There has to be a parity relationship involved when we defend ourselves. The law will allow us to do so, but we have to do so being mindful of something called the doctrine of objective reasonableness. This is the legal concept that is used to evaluate whether what we do to defend ourselves physically is going to be considered legal and appropriate or illegal. It's generally going to be considered appropriate if someone in your similar situation, perhaps the same age, same part of the country that you live in, if they would have done more or less the same thing that you did, your actions would probably be considered reasonable. You don't have to be 100% correct in these situations, which is good news for anyone, but you do have to be reasonable. What do I mean by 100% correct? You don't have to read the mind of your potential assailant. You just have to be attentive, you have to be analytical, you have to be smart, and then you have to exercise prudent judgment so that you do something reasonable in response to the circumstances you're faced with. Now, there's a whole other area that needs to be considered. I mean, complying with the law is obviously very important, but where do you stand personally? When is it morally okay to fight back, to defend yourself? And that's something I don't have an answer for because it's different for each individual person. You have to sort of sort yourself out based on your worldview. The way that you regard violence, the way that you think it's appropriate or inappropriate, and under what circumstances. I always tell people two of the questions that you need to satisfy for yourself, and this is just you personally, is you have to know under what circumstances you'd be willing to fight and for what criteria would you be willing to fight for. That's going to help you, once you sort those two things out, to guide you where you are morally, because where you are morally is unique to you, where I am is unique to me, and so forth. But those are the things that you have to consider above and beyond the legal requirements. Where are you at? And one of the things that can help you figure out where you're at is a dedicated study, a focused study of this type of material. One of the reasons that people sort of shy away from self-defense is because, frankly, it's a negative topic and it can be a very scary topic. What we have found is that if people become willing to at least open themselves up to the idea of the topic, explore it a bit, learn some things, that topic suddenly becomes a lot less scary. What we want to do is we want to rob violence of its power over you. We want to demystify violence. We want to make you okay with the idea that you may have to respond in circumstances of violence with some violence of your own. And that is not only legally okay for you to do so, but you can get yourself to a place where it also feels morally okay for you to do so. I hope you liked this video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you soon.